Hi, everyone. So today I'm going to introduce you to the IRONMAN World Championship Women in Nice. I'm particularly excited to present it because this is where I'm from originally, and I watched the World Championship growing up with Mark Allen running past your race organizer, Yves Cordier. So he's been like such a big influence for French triathlon, and it's amazing to see all he has achieved up to today and putting up that race. But I was a swimmer and just watching triathlete doing such long course, long swim, going all over the mountain and running so many miles. I thought I would never ever do that crazy sport, but here I am. So my name is Anne Basso. If I didn't mention it, I'm a USAT level 2 coach and coach with QT2 Systems now for the probably over 10 years. Also race as a professional triathlete. So yeah, so welcome to Nice and congratulations for qualifying. And I hope you're going to make it a strong Women's Day. So in the presentation today, I'm going to present a little bit of our QT2 philosophy in order for you to master the final days leading up to your race. Like the final weeks and or you want to do your final race week. The main focus of the presentation is obviously the race course, the logistic once you get there, the day before the race morning, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on the course preview, and with that course particularly, most of it is going to be the bike. So if people, some of the women today have watched the men presentation, it's going to be similar, but a few details are different. So I'm going to also point out things that have been done with that World Championship with the men and leading up to this year with some improvements for you to be welcome at the World Championship. And then I just added a little fun things to know. So welcome to Nice. It's been home of triathlon since 1982. So it's been quite a while. So most of you here today are probably going to fly in Nice International Airport. In Nice, it's a very touristic town. So you'll find taxi, tramways, bus. We also have the city bikes called the Vélo Bleu. Everything in Nice has the connection to bleu, which is blue or azure for the water and the blue sky that it's famous for. Once you are at the race start, everything is very much walking distance. So it's made for tourism to be very easy to go to. As anywhere in the world now, you have the Uber and the rideshare. So Ironman actually did a very nice preview of all of that. So you have all the bus map, the cost of it, how it works. And actually for this year, so that's an improvement from last year. If you go on the travel information page of Ironman, so ironman.com, you want to be on the World Championship page and Nice travel. They put up a video on getting at the airport and all the way to downtown, basically. So like I said, first we'll go a little bit over the QT2 Systems 5 Cornerstones, which has already been successful with win at Ironman Nice for the women professional. So we'll go a little bit over training. I know Nice is in 2 weeks, so it's really about how to recover and feel sharp and ready for race day. Your restoration now is super important with your day-to-day nutrition. Fueling for your last training and during the race, pacing, same thing, and then sharpen your mindset basically for the race. So the final weeks to race day, the training. So like I said, it's 2 weeks now. So it's mostly called taper in all training program that you're going to have, no matter how you taper it down. Or if you taper it up with longer session, but very easy sessions. So you want to have some key race-specific session, but always be underestimated than overestimated. Always remember that all you have done, it's already done in your training. So it's just about feeling good and comfortable and kind of keeping in tone with your body of the intensity you want to have on the race day. But always remember, underestimated and not overestimated. You're going to have more easy session. Like I said, some people may favor still long sessions, but keep in mind you want to keep them very easy. Fueling, this is when you want to practice. So make sure you know what you're going to use on course. As you know, this year, Ironman hydration is a little bit different. So I'll go over that when we get to the race day Ironman nutrition on course. But right now you want to know what it is and you want to know what you're going to practice during your training and on race day. Then you're going to have a little bit more time usually those final 2 weeks. So it's a good timing to prepare for race day. If you have doubt on your open water skills, it's a sea swim, so it's going to be very salty with a little bit of sharps. So you want to practice in the pool, or if you have access to open water, whichever, basically you want to build confidence with your swimming. And it can be just practicing feeling comfortable with your breathing. That's the #1 key. You want to make sure you have all your gears ready. So your wetsuit, skin suit, the goggles you're going to use. Nice is, like I said, probably mostly going to be sunny. So the sun is going to be pretty strong as you come back to the shore. So make sure you have the lenses that works for you under those conditions. It can be cloudy. It's probably unlikely, but you always want to anticipate for all the conditions that can happen. So just make sure you have 2 pair of goggles if you need to, depending on if it's overcast or sunny. Cycling skills. As you probably all know, Nice is a mountainous race, and the specificity compared to the North America race is when you go down here, you have more hairpins. So if that's something that makes you anxious or nervous, the best advice for this is to go at usually the school parking lot, the quieter on the weekends, and you just practice turning. And I have a slide a little bit on cycling skills. Gears, as I was looking to make the presentation and adding some picture, I actually, Lucy Charles Barclay this year did Ironman France to practice, probably practicing her skill. And as you can see on the picture, she had gloves. So, I mean, she's a professional. She's the latest World Championship woman. So don't not wear gloves because you think it's embarrassing. It is not. So you have a better grip. And if for some reason the weather is a little bit cool on the descent, you're going to be warmer. And usually as a woman, we have tendency to have faster, colder hands. So if you think you're kind of sleepy a little bit on your air bars, that's a nice trick to think of. Run specificity gears, here it's probably just being comfortable in your tri-suit. If you change intent, just wear whatever you feel comfortable running. It's probably going to be in the 80s, so decide if you prefer a hat or nothing. So last year I had a lot of questions on the weather conditions in Nice. So I put here the link. This is the weather.com of France, so meteofrance.com. And when you're going to search for the town, you want to put Nice, and it's going to ask you if you want plage, means basically beaches. So here's the link, and this is the tab where you add it. This is not of today, but it's been very consistent, the water. And here, when you see the T with O is water, that means that's your water temperature. And this is why we use Nice Plage to check it. So like this, you can check it ahead. It puts up daily. So cycling skills. So I try to find some good tips just to bring confidence. Like I said, we are 2 weeks out. The best thing your best training now is just to gain confidence and the trust on all your preparation. You want to be comfortable on your bike. So I put pictures of me climbing. So you want to make sure that on your bike, you know where you're going to put your hands and just feeling comfortable for the long climb. One of the climb is it's pretty long, over 10 miles. So you just want to be comfortable in your position. And if you've always used the TT bike, that's personally how I started, and I feel more comfortable on a TT bike. I don't feel as comfortable on a road bike, and I competed in the Alps with it just because of my my position. That's the way I know how to ride. So don't be nervous if you see a lot of road bike in transition. Just pick whatever you are comfortable with. Again, your confidence is here. The speed you want to choose, basically, again, it's about you. So find the speed where you are comfortable in. And as in training, basically, the steadier you are throughout the race, the faster you're going to be. So don't try to go fast because someone just passed you and was going really fast. Maybe the next turn or the next few miles you're going to pass her just because she's going to be scared and going to put on a lot more brakes suddenly. So always focus on yourself. That's very important. And you want to stay relaxed. And often when we start being a little bit nervous, we tend to kind of straighten up our elbow. So if you can notice, every time I always focus on keeping elbow loose. This is kind of your absorption, and it gives that comfort and relaxed feeling when you're riding, and also your bike is going to react in a good way by doing this. Braking, like I said, you want to avoid kind of like slamming on brakes. You just want to do little tap to maintain that comfortable speed and not just go fast and suddenly just stay on the brakes. If you stay on the brakes constantly, at one point they overheat, and so your braking is actually going to fail, where you kind of lose the control of your bike. So you don't want to do that. And Nice, if you control it, it's not like a steep Austrian Alps descent. It's you don't get really steep part. It's just long and gradual. So if you control it from the start, you're not going to pick up the speed that you don't want to be at. Corners, as you can see, I put that pictures because you always want to look at the really straight ahead and where you want to go. So you want to find the straightest line that in the corner. And again, if what I'm saying now doesn't really make sense because you don't really practice it, or you actually never noticed if you do it. So either you have a biking loops where you can see if you're doing it, or again, a parking lot you can practice your corners and curve and things like that. Keeping the pace very easy, that's all you need, and maybe just one time. Pedaling, even if it's descending, keep your muscle active. It's going to make you stay alert, and also it's just better for you physically to be strong throughout the race. I think, I guess I said it a couple of times, just practice if you can, and if you cannot make it to a parking lot, just whenever you ride, I'm a big fan of visualization, even if it's indoor and you ride on Swift, kind of see your eyesight and see if your body's upper body is relaxed and things like that. And on Swift, you actually have descent. So I know it's not real life, but with virtual, I guess Formula One, they practice also that way. So don't underestimate any little efforts that visualization work that you're going to do. Something that on any course, it's not specific to Nice, but always be aware of traffic and the other cyclists. Make sure you stay more on your right. So everybody has to pass on the left, but you never know. Some people can pass you on the right. So the closer to your right you are, the less chance you have someone trying to pass you on that side. And again, we want to reduce anxiety. So the final training, your targets, you want to make sure you know your heart rate, your pace, your power, and what's very important, especially on a course that maybe you've never really done a similar type of course, you want to know your perceived effort. You probably train many hours, you probably have done at least one Ironman, and maybe if it's your first Ironman because you had a special allocation, then you still had the training. So rely on your perceived effort and don't rely on people around you and what they're doing, especially on a course like this with different elevation. In general, the final weeks, you don't have any fitness gains. So you just want to train to with the frequency just to keep your body activated. Use your feel. It's very important. Again, as an athlete, we know ourselves a lot better than we think. If you need to add more rest days, again, that's your body telling you, I need this to perform a race day. And don't overtrain, panic train. Don't think you haven't done the work because you have. Optimize basically your recovery potential. Do whatever you need. Some people may add some spa time. Some others may go to bed a little bit earlier or do some sleeping because they have a little bit less sessions. So anything that is going to make you sharp on race day and feel rested when you get there. So nutrition, as you know, and your restoration, and it is the key. It was the key when you had your big training hours, and it's still the key when you're recovery. Hydration, as a rule of thumb, you want about half your body weight in water, in addition to what you hydrate with in training. So don't think because you hydrate in training, you don't hydrate during the day. And I know for some of us during your work hours, it's very complicated, but that's something I always want to make sure with my athlete is that do you have hydration? Do you have snacks? If you cannot have like a proper lunch, or always have nutrient dense food that you can easily carry and eat during your day. If you have with your long runs or long bikes, really make sure you have those carbs and low fat. So remember, carbohydrates it's basically your energy when you go on a long run and your long bike or any type of training. So now your metabolism is very high and you want to make sure that you don't get depleted. It's not the time to lose weight now because again, you want to be rested and feeling sharp. And if you are low in energy, you're not going to be able to get to that state. So you want nutrient-dense food. Nutrient-dense means like berries, greens, like kale, and make sure you have your omega-3s, and it's even more important for us as women. Caffeine, if you can, try to lower it down. Remember, you're also putting less intensity in your training, so it's a good timing to get used to have less caffeine. If less training means maybe you can add some sleeping or going to bed a little bit earlier, but try to get 7.5 to 8 hours per night. This is probably the time you're going to sleep better, because sometimes for some of us, race week, it's with the excitement of the race, it can be harder to get that sleep. Stress, you want to reduce it. So anything creates more stress to you. It can be like if packing at the last minute all your race gears, it kind of creates an anxiety. Just try to do it the week before, start planning. Put a little space in your room where you can pack your clothes, and so basically to reduce it. After your workout, you always want to make sure you have a recovery drink, or if you can have a nutrient-dense meal. Also, it works, but you want to make sure you have your proteins and your carbohydrates after your workout. And as I repeat often, you're fueling as per your race plan. So make sure you know what you're going to do on race day, and it's the time to practice during your training. So moving a week closer, the final week, think about a normal diet. So for some of you guys, you may get to France and Nice a week earlier. So try to find a place, or when you do groceries, to basically do the same thing as you do at home. Try to avoid the brioche, pain au chocolat, croissant, unless you do it when you're in the States or somewhere else, but you don't want to change your nutrition habit. You want to make sure you stimulate what you always do before training, and save this for after the race. I know it's going to be very tempting with all the bakeries, but hold on, it's worth it. And then you can enjoy it a lot after the race. If you see that the weather is going to be hot, so above 85 Fahrenheit, it should not be, but you never know in September. Make sure you have a little bit more salt to your meals. On the Tuesday, maybe that's the time for the croissant. That's the day where 5 days before the race, you want to kind of focus a little bit more on fat food, just to make sure your body gets its nutrition storage up. Carbo loading 2 nights before the race. So again, check where you want to where you're going to eat, maybe pasta, rice if you do it at the hotel room. I'll show you at the end. There's a lot of supermarket where you can get anything you want, basically. So just plan ahead. From what I hear, a lot of people are going to get there a week to 10 days before. So know what you're going to do those last 2 nights before your race. Hydration, again, hydrate plenty, but remember, don't hydrate just with plain water with no electrolytes. You always want to make sure you have electrolytes in the water you have. If at one point you start feeling it's a little bit too much electrolyte, salt, that's perceived feeling. So it is true. So just drink water at that point. That's probably because you've replenished your lost. And this you really want to focus the last 3 days. Fueling, once again, every session, even if it's a very easy session, just always have your electrolyte drink and some carbohydrates. especially as women. Sometimes we kind of don't want to see those carbohydrates. We think they're enemies, but they are not, and you actually very much need them constantly during the day. Use the same products as your race. Like this, your body knows what it's going to do, and you don't really have to think about it. Caffeine, keep on reducing it. Also, with the jet lag, you want to make sure that you get sleep as much as you can. So to reduce the caffeine, it's going to help you. So once you get in these, that's the priority, is to get used to the local hours. So you want to make sure you wake up at the time you always wake up. I'm assuming everyone here is in America, so you want to make sure that you do the same as you would do here in the US. When you feel fatigued, don't hesitate to add naps. That's the way you're going to get your sleeping hours. Often a nice trick is to have sunrise walks, and I also like the sunset walking too. And with the Promenade des Anglais, it's very easy to get this. Rest, you want to stay as much as possible off your feet. That doesn't say do nothing. Like, it will not be good to stay laying down or sitting all day, but you don't want to do shopping or sightseeing, because it's often like a very slow walk, and that's not good for your legs. So on race day, once again, fueling, it's the key to your success, especially in Ironman racing. You control what you take in, so know what's on the aid station, but don't take everything that is on aid station. Make sure that you know what's there and what to carry that you need. Pacing, again, plan ahead. The more experienced you are, the more you're going to know your heart rate, your power, even without looking at it. And so always also use your perceived effort, because this course, it's even more so just because of the climb. So be smart. If you find you start the climb too fast, that's probably because you're going to start it too fast. So know the distance of each climb, and once you do it, if you had 160 watts, for example, and when you start it, it feels kind of like a little bit hard, well, start 140 and build to it. And it's possible you end at 170 or 80. You always want to start a climb on the easy side and finish on the strong side whenever it's very long climbs. You're the one that control your effort. So that's what you train for, and don't forget it on race day. Know the race profile. We'll go over it in a lot of details coming up. And you can always anticipate what you can control. Race ready. So that's kind of, I've been taken in picture often before races. I guess I have like I said, I'm a big visualization person. So you always want to find the moment of calm where you kind of, whatever on your mind you need to do, and before a race, just make sure you prepare yourself to have that moment. Focus on your mental strength. You want to reduce the external pressures. You want to be aware of them and do better than what you do maybe year round for the race. Even little achievements are bigger than you think, because you're always going to see them as small, and they're just simply a huge achievement, and it's going to make a big difference for your day. Always have the right focus before the race, but also during the race. That comes from pacing, fueling, your attitude, or you're going to react, or you're going to self-talk, or you're going to visualize. Don't look at what's around you. Always kind of internalize your feeling and what you can do. as I said in the previous slide, trust your preparation. You've done all the work, you've qualified, and see that already as an accomplishment. Nice is a world championship, and you're going to have a world championship field. So, and you prepared for a world championship. So be proud of yourself. And as you get to Nice and as you prepare those final 2 weeks, just see all of what you have done to that day, and just, it's kind of like the final celebration of your entire year coming to that race. Visualize yourself having a great day, but it also comes by adapting and overcoming challenges. And actually, the more of this you have during the race, the prouder of yourself you're going to be at the end. Probably at the moment, you may self-talk yourself down, but that would not be the right approach. Always switch that mindset to, oh, can I do better? Or, well, I've never done that descent, but what can I do to be proud of myself and do it well? And often most often you'll surprise yourself greatly. Know your own goals, what you want to achieve during that day. Don't put a place number, a time. Honestly, it's very hard to even predict your own time. It can be windy, it can be a hot day. Like if it's a hot day, once you are on the at the top of the mountains, on the other side, toward the Alps, it can get really hot. So, and it can be windy too. So don't predict, well, the guys did this and compared to Hawaii that did this, you don't know what's going to be this year. So just always focus on doing the best you can do at each moment of your race. So your goals are always things that you can control. If you're not very good at fueling on most of your race, well, that's something you can control and that you can improve. So always have also a range of things. Like it doesn't have to be, I know as A type, we want to be like successful on like very specific target, but you don't want to do that. You want to have kind of a broad range of targets that you can control. You always want to internalize your feelings. So anytime you start kind of down talking yourself, shut it down and just focus on, am I looking straight up? Did I fuel? How's my pacing? Kind of ask yourself questions to get away from this. Appreciate your day and be grateful. Again, that's how I started the presentation. You're qualified. So measure all the training you have done, your dedication year round, and it's a celebration. It's a world championship. So you're ready. And so now it's just the time to celebrate it and do the best you can do on the day. Because it's traveling abroad and maybe to Europe, it can be the first time when traveling within the States. I know you have to pack your bike, but something that is different with borders is that they open the bike. So sometimes the security checkpoint, they don't really close it nicely. So this is why I put a picture of, it can be extreme, but basically in your cycling box, whichever one you're using, you want to make sure that your bike doesn't move that much. And if they open it and they kind of lift a little bit the handlebar, that when they put it back, it doesn't come back onto a frame. So some of the recommendation is to think that it's eggs. So you don't want to have like your them shaking too much. Remember, you want everything that you detach, like the screws or things like that. Even if you bring it to a bike shop that does it, make sure you tell them, did you put my screws in a little bag, or did you tie them back again, just so they don't come loose? Because again, as international traveling, you're going to have the security checkpoints. So when they open it, they don't see it the same way you see your bike. And remember, in the end, it's your safety. And I mean, for most of us, the bike is pretty precious. So know that. You want to remove air from your tire. It protects your wheels, and so that's again for your security. No CO2 cartridges. They're going to remove it. Sometimes they put an alert. So again, the less they touch your bike and go into your stuff, the best it's going to be. Make sure you label it. Nice is a big airport, but it's also not like a huge airport. So if there's a delay with getting your bike, they're going to be pretty good at bring it back to you, but make sure you have your name, your address, your phone number, so it's easy to find. So like this, you don't kind of go down the list of the bike to be shipped. That's a personal note. I like to add and up and down arrows. Like again, depending on your bike case, you want to make sure if it needs to be in a certain direction, if you add it in, it can always help. So the closest you arrive to race day, I don't think they're going to have big delays, but again, if you arrive on Thursday, that can be risky. So if that's the way you can do it, that was the only option. So make sure you have your label on your bike. Make sure you packed it the way your airline wanted it, so they don't hold it up at the security check. And you are responsible for your bike and bike safety on race day. That was a note that I saw on the Ironman guide. So on the Ironman guide, they added this year that's new compared to last year. They're going to do insider tips. So for the swim course, it's on the Thursday, basically where the swim start is going to be. They're going to follow it up with the bike and run. You'll have to walk to where the Ironman village is, but it's only a few minutes out, so you can do both. So it's I don't know what they're going to say, but it can always again building confidence and trust for the race, and basically you're living the full World Championship experience. I don't know if most of you or some of you did watch the men's pro race. It is a nice way to see how it's organized, what the bike course looks like, and how the run course looks like. I mean, you can skip obviously some hours, or maybe you still have a long ride on the trainer, so that can give another good sense of what I'm going to present today. My presentation on the course is going to go a little bit more on details on watch out and how you're going to approach some of the roads. So for this year, you're going to need basically like USAT does. When you don't have the license, you need to purchase a 1 day. This is what's going to happen with this year. So they want you to have a valid French license. So on Ironman.com and the athlete guide, they have a link that brings you to the French Federation website. So one journée is basically 1 day, and you're going to buy your VinFast Ironman World Championship day pass. So it's 40 euros. So in dollars, it's probably around $50 or something. So you just want to buy that pass. And then you want to, again, on Ironman.com, you have the link to dock it up. It's basically a platform where you upload your pass, but you can also bring it in at check-in. And even if you upload it, I'm the type of person that I would prefer to also have the printout just in case they don't see it or something. So here's the map. It's really well explained on Ironman. So basically, that's the Mediterranean Sea, the Ironman village. It's not far from where you're going to start. And I have another map with a little bit of building to show it to you. The checking is on Wednesday, from Wednesday to Friday. There's no checking on Saturday from 9 to 6. It's basically in the main part of the downtown in Nice, the Miroir d'Eau. It's I'll show you a picture on the next slide. You want to have ID, the QR code, like any race, and that day pass from the French Federation. And here for the final banquet, I just added it. It's a little bit further out, so you can walk it, but you also have the tramway that if you don't want to walk too much, that brings you from the Ironman village to here, and it's only a few minutes. So I try to put a little bit of picture on that map. So the Miroir d'Eau, where you have the basically the Ironman village here. It's that place with water, and it's kind of like a kid at the same time playground, but it's also just that reflection of water and the garden that they built. The Albert Premier garden, it's basically here. So that's really close to the water start. So this is right here, like that green athlete post-race area. So like I said, all of this is like not even a mile. And from the Ironman village, you can either stay on the main road here through the gardens, or if you walk through those streets, it's basically the old town of Nice. So again, don't spend too much time shopping, but it's very safe, very touristy, and probably one of the most popular places to visit. So in your race packet, you're going to have 2 bib number, and one of them is for the run on the front. Stickers for the back frame, helmet, and the bags. 1 swim cap, the athlete wristband, and you want to make sure as soon as basically you do your packet pickup to the last banquet of champion for the breakfast on the Monday, that you have your wristband on. Don't take it out. If not, you're not going to get in without a pass. You're going to have your ticket for your bike checkout, and basically you are going to have 5 bags. So I noticed it on the guide this year. Apparently they are not all plastic. So I did put the name of the material, but I don't even know exactly how they're going to look like, but don't be surprised if they're not plastic, basically. So morning clothes is going to be gray. They don't want you to put any backpack in, pumps. That's something you have to know in France. They're very picky on those type of rules when they put it. So if they say they don't want it, they're probably going to give you a hard time if you do it. So again, reduce the stress. Bike gears are going to be in a blue bag, run red, run personal needs is yellow, and bike personal needs it's green. It's the personal needs that are going to be in plastic. Again, a little bit like the morning clothes bag. Again, the French officials are going to be a little bit picky, so they said no clothing, no shoes. It's only nutrition in your personal needs. So just make sure that you only have nutrition. Your timing ship is going to be at the bike gear check-in. So remember that you come out of the bike check-in with your ship. So always wear your wristband. Your mandatory check-in is on Saturday from 11:30 to 6 p.m. Don't be after 6 p.m. Those little picky things, you're in France, so that's the way it is for even for the Frenchmen. So don't be past 6 p.m. They're not going to let you in. You want to have your bike, your helmet on. Maybe they change it, but often they like you to have the helmet so they can check you have your sticker on. That's going to be, or they're going to check who you are on race day. So you want to have the sticker on your helmet. And then you're going to have 2 stickers on your bike. So you want to put it on each side. The bib number, the rules is you have 2 securely points of attachment. You're going to bring in your bike and run gear. You're not going to be able to access your those bags even on race morning. So remember that. The helmet has to be in your bike gear. Your shoes can be clipped on the bike, but nothing can be on the floor. Remember to receive your timing chip and make sure that your name match your chip. They don't want you to cover your bike fully, but you can cover parts of it, like the computer or the chain, if you like. So some referees, it's the same as racing anywhere in the US or internationally, but we just want to make sure that you know the rules so you're not disqualified. So once you have 3 penalties, you're disqualified. The main one are drafting and littering. So I think it's getting harder for Ironman to have communities to accept racing for so many hours. And it's even more difficult when athlete litters the community. So this is why it's an important one to not do. You have to stop at the next penalty tent along the course. I think this year they seem to put like a lot of attention on this. So it's probably for security also to not have everyone at the same place. So make sure you stop, because if not, you're disqualified. For the run, basically, if you make an infraction, I'm not really sure exactly what it can be, but you're going to be stopped at the point with the official. Make sure that they mark with a slash your number to kind of, that's at the tent or at the mark of the run. That's to show that you actually did your penalty. And remember, in race, there's a lot of people, so they may not remember you. So make sure you have that slash. And at the register tent, the bike tent for penalty, you have to sign in too. Obviously, you want to respect the marshals, the race official, the staff, the volunteers. If you kind of argue on site and are not respectful, that's a DQ, and that's not how you want to celebrate your World Championship. And obviously, you want to apply sportsmanship throughout the day and even to your fellow athletes. So some of the common violation is you always want to ride on your right and not on your left for blocking. But remember, it's also for your safety. So like this, you always expect people passing on the left. It's about 6 bike lengths. I know with the descents and the climb, the marshals are going to be smart. I mean, they're used to race to those races. So you just want to find the position that makes sense to you and keep that 6 bike length. You always want, you don't want to pass on the right, so you want to pass on the left. If you pass on the right, that's an illegal pass. And the time, it's about 25 seconds. So basically, when you start passing, you don't want to slow down. And remember, sometimes when you pass, it's kind of an instinct. The other one may kind of speed up. So make sure you're prepared to pass and put the muscle tension to do it quickly so you don't get the infraction. And whenever you pass, you want to make the effort of standing and kind of pulling back. You always want to make sure that your helmet is strapped. That's for your security. The race number, yeah, it's not the bib. It's only numbers on your bike frame and your helmet. No leader, no unauthorized equipment, no outside assistance, no urinating in changing tents. So apparently that happens. And you never want to cross the center line. So if there's no center line, just kind of cut the road in half. And again, most of the rules basically are for our own safety. And the same thing, you want to obey traffic law, even if they say one road is closed, you always want to assume that you can have a car coming in. I put a little bit more rules that are new to this year, and they're kind of with all the aerodynamics result and things like that. A lot of athletes have been very creative and innovative, and so Ironman this year put up more rules to, and again, that's in the end for the safety of the athletes. So the jersey shirt for us with the sport bra, you can run in a sport bra or cycle in a sport bra. The zipper rule is mostly for the guys, so they I won't cover that. You don't want to have any camera, phone camera, video camera. The only time you can have this, that's only if Ironman, you had the approval with Ironman. Make sure you have your CPSC sticker. That's for the US, the CEN or America. It's the European standard. You don't want to alter or do anything creative on your helmet. You just want to have your helmet for your safety, basically. No communication devices, cell phone, radios, headset, and headphones. Again, that's for security purpose. And now, again, with all the creation, no fairings, nothing to add more aero on your bike. So I've seen duct tape added or pieces of plastic, duct tape, so that all of this is not allowed, and that's new since this year. So last year, our world champion women, it was allowed. You could put like hydration, like tucked in, as you see with Lucy. But know that this year it's just forbidden. I think they've seen it falling, so it was becoming just a little bit too dangerous to have it. So I put it kind of as a distraction, I guess. But this is the running shoes that are not allowed. So just kind of check that you don't have it. It's on Ironman. You have the competition rules. So that's a lot of the Adidas ASICS Super Blast, the New Balance Fuel Cell Super Comp Trainer, and the Saucony Kinvara Pro. So, and they may check it. I haven't raced in France in a while, but they kind of, like I said, all those little things, they kind of look at it. So in the athlete guide, again, in the last rules, and then I'll move on to the course. Basically, you remember you are ambassador of the sport and the event. You want to follow the traffic laws. They're very similar to what you have in the US. Always be courteous and respectful. And I know maybe some residents won't be, but they're kind of creating that situation because they want to find a way to not have you again. So, you have, just say thank you, or a nice way to do it when they kind of stare you on the side for the bike, just say hi. So that works pretty well. And if they say it again, just say hi again. Stay single file is always more appreciated. The drivers are, they cannot be as rude when you're in single file. Follow traffic laws. You may see cyclists passing some of the lights in front, but for your own safety, just because it's a new country and a new place, just do the same way as you do in the US. Don't use the private properties like toilets, trash, do not litter. And even though on the Tour de France, they paint roads, Apparently Ironman athlete, they cannot. So here we are for race morning. You have the tattoo. I think that's a very triathlete thing. So embrace your tattoo. It's on the upper arm. You want to have your wristband. Don't forget your timing ship, your swim cap. Remember to pick the goggles. You can practice during the week. Choose the lenses that works for you. And make sure you always have handy your wetsuit and swim skin. I believe last year was swim skin actually because it was really warm. So, but at the last minute, if they have like cold water from the mountain, it can turn from the night before to the next day to wetsuit. So just be aware of this. I'm sorry. Bring your special needs bag. Make sure you have everything that you need. Check your bottles, the nutrition, and remember, it's only nutrition. Your transition open a little bit later than last year, 5:15. It won't be open earlier, so you don't have to come earlier. And it closes at 7:45. So you have two gates to get in. So that circle thing is the garden I talked about, the Albert Premier garden. So on both sides, you're going to have point of entrance. That's for security. And this year they added one on the promenade. So coming from the airport toward the transition, they added that entry points. And remember, you're going to have pumps in transition, and the bib number is only on the run. So I know they put two, but sometimes it's because in case something happened to one, just make sure they always do it that way. So that's your race side. That's the Plage de Ponchette. So basically behind with the colorful building, that's the old town of Nice. So basically your Ironman village is back there, and you kind of walk diagonally to the beach, and it's very short. So here is the view of the old town, and that's how you're going to enter the water. They recommend 25 minutes before your wave start, but anything where you are comfortable, so you have your visualization moment. Drop morning bag before. I don't remember if that will be in my next slide, so I'll show it to you. But basically, last year it was on the beach where you start. This year, it's basically as you walk out of transition, they have the drop morning bag. But as you enter, sometimes if you are in doubt, that's always something I like to ask officials, just to kind of plan ahead where it is. Breathing pattern is always successful to calm before the storm. So any breathing pattern that works for you, use it. Maybe closing your eyes at some point, just sitting down, relaxing, seeing your day, and just embracing your moment. Don't forget to have your hydration and your food, if it's a gel or a bar with your water. Right now, the weather is 64 Fahrenheit nights and between 76 to 86. So I know it doesn't look as hot as Hawaii, but remember, all the run is like along the sea, and it's very sunny, and the temperature can pick up in the 90s, and you always have the water reflection. That's something that brings the heat up. It is not the same heat as lava field, but it's not a heat that you can underestimate. So if you like to do some sauna before race that are hot, I'll recommend it. It's going to be useful even if it's a cooler day. Right now, the humidity has been a little bit higher than last year, between 60 and 75. So again, bring both wetsuit and skin suit. Because I spent time with rules, I thought I had days for wetsuit, not above 5 millimeters for wetsuit. And then skin suit, you want to make sure it's not neoprene, basically, and you don't want to. What's important, and that's why I put it in, is you don't want something that cover your neck or that goes past your knees, past your elbow. Basically, it's just below your shoulder and all the way to the top of your knees. You don't want to use any speed calves thing or compression. This you have to do it in T1. Remember the rule for wetsuit is 76.1. That was Friday. It was non-wetsuits, but today it was cooler. But it keeps on changing really quickly because of the wind. So if it's very windy, it drops the water temperature down pretty quickly, but then the next day it can come back up. So remember that. You must start with the wave that you are attributed to. You cannot start earlier. That's automatic DQ. The swim is clockwise and it kind of does an M shape. So when you come back after that first loop, you actually don't do the Australian running out. You stay in the water. That's the moment where the buoy are going to be on your left. After that, it's always on your right. So it's basically it makes kind of an M shape to the finish. So I put the time. So the pros start at 7:15 and then you have a wave to 7:53. So make sure you anticipate your wave time, and you are going to be many women, so anticipate the work and getting comfortable in your start wave. The cutoff is 2 hours and 20 minutes from the point you enter the water. So be aware that something they pointed out when I see things about Nice. So they put a mat over those rocks. So basically to keep Nice having a beach and not be taken by the sea, that's why they put rocks. So they're going to put a mattress on, but when you walk on it, run on it, it's kind of wobbly and it's not really comfortable. It's better that without the carpet, but it's not super soft either. So if I always say when you come out of the swim anyways, you don't want to rush out. You kind of want to breathe, and if you have to walk, you walk, and whenever you kind of sense being on earth again, you can pick up your pace, and especially more so here with the rocky, wobbly under your foot. So you're going to have a ramp up to T1, and you're going to run and take your bike blue bag into your changing tent. If you want to do sunscreen and you want to take the one from IRONMAN, that's at the exit of the tent, and then you run to your bike. So just to note, that's the kind of the sun, and again, it's pretty bright, so make sure you have those goggles lamps. And that's the M shape thing where you don't exit on the like the Australian exit, you just stay in the water and swim. So I put the, make sure you kind of look at all it's done. So when you're going to come out of the water, you're going to run and you're going to have the change stand, and then you run out to the bike, basically. So that's something you always want to do when you do your bike checking, is kind of see where are the in from the bike, in from the swim, and out to the bike and out to the run. Again, that's time that you can save for race morning and be clear in your mind. So now the bike. So it's been said, picturesque, challenging. It's definitely mountainous, plus 1,000, well, almost 8,000 feet. And so basically you start from here along the Mediterranean, and once you pass the airport and go toward that way onto the loop, it basically start going up between 60 mile, the mile 35 mile to 70 mile. It's flat, but it at the same time you still have some type of little technical, and for people racing that raced Lake Placid, that's where you have like more like the little short up as the new loop. All the long climb, you basically want to see them compared to Lake Placid or Coeur d'Alene. It just goes longer, basically. So you kind of have to settle in, like if you will do a full flat race, you want to find that power where you can be steady throughout. So these are some of the gears recommendation. That's basically if you're competitive and pretty solid when you race and consistent, and that's the type of gearing you always use, you basically can use that again in East. Again, you want to find a gear that you can hold for a long time. So most of the North America course, even Chattanooga, anything that goes up, you're going to be able to use it, but you want to ask yourself the question, can I hold that for a long time? If you cannot, that means you need to upgrade to a lower gear setup. And for more limited, you want to think a compact, kind of like, or you will go to a mountainous race, basically. Pacing, it's a third flat, a third climb, and a third descent. The descent are not like super steep. You can control your speed. So just know that, and don't panic as you go. Just start slower and maybe build your confidence as you go in the race and end up a little bit faster. You're going to have no passing zone. They can DQ you, especially if they think you made a dangerous call for the safety of yourself and everyone. So they are 3 mile, 81 mile, and 109 mile. But it's going to be clearly marked. So when you start, I kind of passed the Promenade des Anglais with the palm trees and the sea. This is when you exit and you go toward the airport. So it's basically a small highway between town. It goes pretty fast. There's often no winds at that time in the morning. You can really use your TT setup and kind of, or if you like to hydrate fuel at that point, it's not technical, so you can do it. Then it's about 6 miles. The only technical part, that's a side from the Ironman Live from last year, where you see basically you come here from that straight road and you have just a big turn to go under and to go in the valley toward the mountains. So that's the only thing. Once you are in the valley, at the end, you're going to have a left turn. And once you start turning left, it's not as steep directly, but you want to be prepared to change gears. And last year was orange markers. So again, those, I don't know if they changed the colors, but it will be always the same throughout the course. So the first climb is at 6 miles. Again, be aware of changing gears. So basically you come from like 0% and up to that bump to that 10%. I recommend going to the small chain ring as soon as you see that you're kind of going up to anticipate. And then you're basically going to go up all the way to Vence. At the steepest part is really at the beginning, then it settles. As you can see, the yellow is like less steep. You have a sharp little 15%, but it's not that long, and then you keep going up. You're going to have the first 8 stations after you've done all the climbing in the town of Vence. And these are all, this is Vence, but all the small village you're going to go up to are going to be very similar to this one. So that's kind of the view of that section where you climb. At the beginning, it's more city-like, and as you go up, it's going to be smaller roads and more mountain-like, like you see in the tour. So you're going basically to go up to the Corniche of Saint-Genès. So something I want to show with those pictures is this part can be 8 to 10%. And as you come here, you're going to have some sharp turns. So always make sure you look straight and always look in the direction. That's the way you're going to pass the turns the best with the best speed, so you can maintain your momentum onto the next gradient. So this part, actually, you don't see it much on the Ironman Live. So once you've done all the climb to Vence, it's very pretty on the Corniche, but then you're going to come down that type of a road. And when you see that little house, you're going to make a right, that arrow, a purple arrow. And as you turn right, it's going to go up. So that town here is Tourette-sur-Loup. That's the last little, so you have Vence, and then you'll go to Tourette-sur-Loup, and you come down. So you'll come down to a town called Pont-sur-Loup. So if you see the names, just anticipate once you pass this town that you come down here, and at the end of the down here, you're going to turn right. And once you turn right, again, use the momentum. Look before the turn in the direction where you want to go. Use that momentum, and as soon as you find grip, basically, and resistance in your pedal, you can switch to your lower gear. The start of the long climb is always going to be steeper, and then as you go, the percentage is easier. So when you, this doesn't look that much, but it's actually one of the probably 8%. And as you go up the gorge, it's basically canyons. You're going to go under a tunnel, and this is the steeper spot of your climb. Once you come out of the canyon, you're going to make a left turn, and then it becomes more like a pass. And the percentage is going to drop below 7%. So once we made that turn here, after the descent, you basically have a 12.5-mile climb. So if I compare it, because I know we're going to have a lot of QT tour, to Lake Placid, basically the difference between ending the loop of Lake Placid with that long back up to town to this type of long climb is here you always kind of have a 5 to 7% incline that is always steady. You have a small flat section, but it's very short. Whereas in Lake Placid, you kind of go up in stage. You go up and then it's flat, up and flat. So in some way here, you really want to kind of ease into it and build into it. Whereas in Lake Placid, it's always, I have a momentum, I settle down, I have a momentum, I settle down. At least that's the best way I'll describe it. At the midpoint of the climb, you're going to have a aid station in the town. So make sure you use it, because once you pass that aid station, unless it's overcast, it's going to be very sunny. And the end of the second part is like super steady at 6 to 8% all the time. So it's really strength oriented and kind of tempo-ish effort. So you want to make sure you're hydrated and that you have fuel since the start of the race. So the top of the climb, it's called Pass de l'Aigle, and it will be at 37-mile marker of your race, and you will be at 3,500 feet. So that's often when you ride in the mountains, you have those percentage that Ironman kind of synthesized here. So as you see at the beginning in the canyons where you go under the tunnel, that's the steepest spot. So you this one use momentum, but always control your breathing. It's not a good time to look at power. You want to make sure you rely on perceived effort. And whenever you're kind of coming out of the canyon before that left turn, it's going to be a little bit flat after all those steep. So make sure you hydrate your fuel at that point before that left turn. And then you keep going up. The next flat is basically the town of Gourdon, where you're going to have your aid station. Again, that's a nice way to fuel, kind of settle back down your breathing, your body temperature before, basically here it's like that 7 to 8%. So this is kind of doing a low cadence tempo effort at the end. So once you've done this, you're going to have a flat after. So you may be that from that aid station to the end above an Ironman effort. But after, because of the flat, you're going to be able to settle down. So that's the portion where you want to make sure that you can handle a 7 to 8% climb with the gear that you have at the cadence that you want to have. So something you always want to remember, that's the controlled thought that you can have, is to be patient. The secret to be successful in mountaineers stage is to be patient. For some reason, we are always more patient on a flat course than a climb, but honestly, it's similar if you have the right gear. So be patient and always use the momentum of one section into the other. And really always ask yourself, am I at the perceived effort that I can hold for a certain time? So that's the little town of Gourdon, and that's where they're going to set up aid station about. They may put it up here at the, so basically after that turn left, you are like climbing at 5 to 6%. But at the end, it kind of flattens a little bit to 3, maybe a little bit under. So they may put the aid station just before the town. So that little sign is when you get up to the pass. That's the black with the white col de lec. So as you see, that climb, that is 7 to 8%. It's very exposed. So if it's sunny, again, it's not lava field, but you're going up. So you're going to push the effort a little bit more than just a flat course. And so you want to make sure, and you've been climbing since the start, basically. So you want to make sure you have your fuel, your hydration, and that you control your breathing, heart rate, and power. So I had put a little sketch, and don't hesitate to come back to the presentation and stop. But basically here we've done from the 0 to 37 miles. So I put the markers in kilometers, but like this you can also see the name of the town that you're passing, and Tourette-sur-Loup is the one that I said, well, just before you come down and make that right sharp turn before the this is where I want to insist, that steep climb at the beginning of your long climb. So as you come up, after it's mostly flat, you even have a descent. And once you descend, you are going to come from that way on D12 and make a sharp right turn. So in our cycling skills, make sure you always control your speed. Always you want to look up and anticipate the turn. So brake before. You never want to brake within a turn. That's what causes most falls of turns. So you want to find the speed that you want to take the turn before it. You always want to stay focused, even if it sometimes it's hard after such a long climb, and that's again a new effort maybe. It's kind of hard to stay focused on your race. So the best way to stay focused is to hydrate, eat, maybe cool yourself with some water, and kind of settle back into your new heart rate zone power that you want to follow. And always stay concentrated on what's coming next. And then you have some nice flat roads where, don't forget, even if you have a climb, make sure you are aero as possible at that point. You can gain a lot of time, and the race doesn't resume itself to the climb. It's a third. So you can lose a lot of time if you don't think about the flat part as a racing part. So I put so once you are at the top, we call that a plateau. It's basically a flat section at the top of a pass. It's called Cosol. So once you are here, you're basically doing all the way here. It's going to be flat with that out and back toward Val de Roux, and you come back. So here you're going to have 3 aid stations. Make sure you use them. Again, if it's a warm day, because of the plateau, it can get really warm. The only, I guess it's called a spectacular course, not, and technical for a reason. So even on the flat part of the race, you are going to have that steep descent. So it's a very small road. We're away from the big city. You are actually the plateau has a ski station over the winter, so it's like very small. And so make sure you anticipate those that sharp turn and control your speed. But then you're going to have very nice stretch of flat. So aid station to resume them. That's the very easy one to make sure you fuel, and that's a big chunk of your course. It's basically between 35 miles to 75 miles. So a 25 mile of this. So you have 2 aid station and the special needs in the town of Andon. That's this one. So if you don't have special needs, always call ahead. I think it was a little bit complicated last year. It wasn't as simple as maybe some races. They often, when they come with a next edition, they always improve. So I'm sure they're going to improve the flow of it, but anticipate it. But because your aid station may not have all of what you need for the race, remember, fueling is an important part of your success. So if you have to have a particular hydration, you're always going to gain more time by stopping at the aid station than not taking it. So right after the special needs, for those not taking it, the one right after, it's only water and precision electrolytes. So it hasn't any carbs or any fuel over there. So here again, back to my little sketch. So you do all the flat with a sharp descent. And you can, I didn't mention it, but you can always download the course GPX. So for those coming in early and that want to check some part of the course, feel free. You can always drive and park very easily anywhere on the course. So after this, before the long descent, you're before going to the next climb, before the descent, you're going to go to the ski station. A town is called Créolière. So same type of roads, small and flat or with hairpins. And this is the town. So sometimes they make you go through the town and sometimes around it. So I'm not really sure which way they're going to do it exactly, but if they do the regular course, basically once you get in town, you go through the street of the town. This part you cannot drive it because it goes against the it's either pedestrian or one-way street. So on the bike, of course you can do it, being careful. As you exit the town of Créolière, so you're going to have that descent. So anytime on those graphic of the inclination of the routes, you see red, it's when it's a little bit steeper. It's never like it's not like the King descent where it goes like for a long time. It's short. Short, but again, because you have hairpins, you do want to control. Whereas in Placid, it's straight and then it flattens and you kind of go. Here it goes down and then you go into a hairpin. So controlling the speed is what you want. At the exit of that descent before the climb, you have a roundabout. So be careful to look at how they're going to direction you through it. Often they keep you to the left. That's often how they're going to do it, but make sure you watch the signals. And this is the way the next climb is going to look like. And it goes up for 5 miles, and you're going to have an aid station here. So that climb is named Saint-Pons. So if when they give insider tips, they give you names, just remember that. So you have your last aid station before starting your long descent. So it's technical and short, but again, practicing and visualizing how you're going to come in turns and controlling your speed is going to very much help you through it. You're after that little descent, you're going to have a steep climb, but I guess it will be you'll have practiced by then to basically come up to the town of Coursegur. So I put like a little cross. This is here the town, and you're basically coming back up. As most of climb in Nice, they kind of start a little bit steep, and then you can settle into a more tempo-ish pace. So here we just did the descent from Gréolière. You have the roundabout at the bottom of the descent, and then the climb of Saint-Pons. A short little descent, but with some hairpins into a short climb to Coursegur. This climb is short, but because you've done the big climb, a lot of flat where you push the pace, and then another 5 mile climb, don't underestimate it. Just always pace it the same way you did the other one. So once you are at Coursegur, you're basically like that road called D8. You're basically coming down to Bouillon. So that's the first part of the descent. So it's small roads like this that repeat. So basically, you follow the mountain. So always look straight up and anticipate the next turn. When you don't see, anticipate that it kind of look at the landscape and how it's looking, and it's probably going to be able to tell you if it's going to go right or left. But the secret is to control your speed. So I put like a Google map and highlighted in red. It's just to show you that it's going to be very flowing, very light twist, and then suddenly kind of a sharp turn, like, but you can anticipate it here because you see the road on the other side. So that's the way you can, even if you've never seen it, you can anticipate it. So once you're in Bouillon, as you see that the road is going to make a sharp right turn in town. What you want to watch out when you get there is you have a little bit more hairpins, and when you see that sign with the bump, it's for people watching the cycling race in France, you may see them when they come through little towns. You have a lot of speed bumps. So the little red that I'm pointing here with the arrow bumps the probably 5-inch up, but you really either want to go straight up them or make sure your wheel doesn't touch the edge of it. And this one, the concrete one, it's more gradual, but if you go too steep, it's going kind of to lift your bike. So again, control speed before you come over them, just the same way as you would approach a sharp turn. So that turn is basically the one at top left here. Once you are in the town of Bouillon, you're going to have a sharp turn to exit the town. That's this one. But once again, with control speed, you're going to be able to anticipate each direction that you're going to have. At the exit of that turn, you're basically coming down here, and I marked it with the marker black. So you come down, and if you keep your eyesight forward, looking at where you're going to see that the mountain road is kind of going on the other side. So you know that at the bottom of your descent, you're going to have that turn to the left. That little blue sign is anything you see like a little bump. It means you're going to have a speed bump, or here it can be the road kind of dipping in. So this is that at the top left, that exit out of Bouillon with that big hairpin. And as you come down and you shift to the other side, so here, there you're going to have an aid station. So here the road basically gradually go back up to 3 to 4%. So it's going to be easy to get the aid station. So if you have the speed from the descent, make sure you reduce it to get the fueling that you need from the volunteer, but then you're going to go up. So you can control that again. So this is 2 to 3%. It's not I call it like a tempo. You may use a little bit of low cadence, whichever you need to activate your legs after doing such a long descent. So it's very pretty, and you can really settle into basically your high aerobic pace. Once you finish that climb, you're going to go through 3 towns, small town village, one called Le Broc, Carros, and Gatier. And the reason I put them in and put so much details is every time you come in a town, you're going to have speed bumps and roads that become narrow or kind of have a Y to it. So always focus your eyesight on the direction you're going and look for the speed bumps that you have coming in town. So again, that's when you see those white arrow marked on the ground, that means it's a speed bump. Anytime you see basically a change of markers on the ground, that's probably some kind of thing to slow down the cars. So different type of shape of speed bump. So here it's yellow one, and this one the same as the concrete one. Then the descent becomes wider and wider, just like this. So it's not, this one doesn't have like big hairpins, so always keep your eyesight going forward, but you do have some a little bit kind of wider turns into it. So coming into Carros, again, you have speed bumps and some short turn to change directions. Again, look at the IRONMAN markers and follow the direction. But this part is your fast part of the race. The last town is called Gatier. So once you see it, that means you are coming pretty close to the finish line and to the latest flat portion. Excuse me. So again, you have turnabouts, but they go pretty nicely. It's not really steep. The only portion you're going to have steep is at the very end. And it is marked here when the road becomes smaller. Often that's kind of when you can anticipate something a little bit more technical is coming. And again, here you see with the the landscape is looking that if you keep going straight, you're basically hitting the other side. So anytime you see those type of shape, that means you're going to have a sharp turn at the end. So this is like almost like your third part of the descent. So that's the longest part. You're going to rest your legs Make sure you spin down to keep some blood flow, and always keep in mind to keep your elbows relaxed. If you keep your elbows relaxed, you're going to keep a relaxed posture, and you're going to be able to get some recovery during the descent instead of adding more fatigue into it. And then we're going to come in the super pancake flat last portion. Don't underestimate it. You can make time on this part as well. So here it's to finish that the red part here. It's kind of like where it becomes technical, just as kind of get the last little bit before you end it. So you have a sharp left turn to it. But once you kind of exit that rocky descent, you're basically coming back here, and you're going to notice it becomes more city-like, and you are along the Var River. So from there, it's like super flat. At the end of the descent, you're going to have your last aid station. So that's something you want to focus on. So that last aid station is at about 102 miles. Make sure, even if you didn't do such a good job at some point, again, don't be hard on yourself. You can always do a reset and make sure you are that you're on what you need. So that last aid station is a good way to get in your fueling that maybe you missed, or just making sure you're on track with your fueling plan. And it's a good opportunity to cool and just start visualizing the run. And remember, unless it is overcast, the run is going to be very sunny and right along the sea, so it keeps you warm pretty good. So the way I like to describe it is that you've done the countryside and now you're coming in the industrial zone. So just follow the markers through it. And then it becomes a little bit more residential as you come toward the sea, and for the last stretch through the promenade. So that's some overview on how it's kind of becoming urban-like. At the end of that flat stretch, you're going to kind of basically ride into the biggest mall of the area called Cat 3000. As you get there, you're going to have a good, but it's a very kind of highway exit, big turn to go up toward Nice. So as you come up toward Nice, you're going to pass the international airport. And as you, this is super flat. It can be headwind or tailwind. If it is headwind, just make sure you tuck in and you use your arrow position. Again, ride all the way to T2. You can always save good minutes, so stay focused. So this is how the road keeps on changing, and as you get closer to Nice, you're going to have more and more palm trees, so that's the sign you're getting to T2. So the bike cutoff is 10 hours and 50 minutes from the time of your start of the swim. Make sure you, for women that needs to make the cutoff, just kind of look at the maps that I put here or on the athlete guide, and kind of have it marked, maybe a sticker on your bike to know when and where is your cutoff, to make sure you get through them. If unfortunately you don't make it, you're going to have to go into the Ironman SAG vehicle. That's for your safety. And the run course closes at 6:58 p.m. So again, make sure you know the flow of the T2. You come in from the promenade and all the palm trees. You're going to basically ride past the bike, and the dismount is all the way at the end toward where you had the swim exit to T1. So don't stop once you see the transition and the finish line type of area. You have to keep riding past the transition area to the bike dismount line. And then once you come in, then you're going to pick up the run bags. You have your change stand. Bag drop off all the time is at the exit of your change stand, and then you go on to the run. So I put that picture because you are in a big town, and you have the fans, but you also have locals, and you have tourists that don't know what's going on. So as anywhere, when you have pedestrian, just be aware, and just be careful that there's no one crossing or something like that. So the run, so it's probably not going to be the time yet to be on the blue chair or lying on the beach. That's for after, but it's a very flat and fast run. And for everyone, it can be fast. Don't kind of laugh and say, oh, I'm not going to be fast, just because it's super flat, and the surface of it's actually pretty good for running. Sometimes after climbing for all that time and being on the bike for so long, and it kind of makes the excitement of finding that pancake flat roads. So it's very easy to overestimate the pace. So you probably have to force yourself to slow down and make sure you settle your heart rate, feel comfortable, get your hydration, nutrition, and as you go, settle into what you know you can do for an Ironman. So for pacing, don't burn matches on the first 10K. Also, just because of the perspective of the bay, to see it kind of drives you to go forward a little bit faster. At the end, you're probably going to look down your feet. So that's something actually you don't want to do. Always look forward and keep on an eye on those 8 stations. It's actually very nice because with that U shape of the bay, you can always focus and see the next 8 station. So the special needs, they changed it from last year. Last year, they had you run out and you had the special needs. This time you only run about less than a quarter mile and you have the special needs. So you have it right away at the end of T2. Then at the end of your first 6 mile 10K run, at half marathon, and then at 20 miles. So you have, in theory, 4 times access, but remember, once you finish your 3rd loop, you basically have the last 10K with no special needs. So that's a little bit of the promenade view without race. That's with the race on. And that's as you go toward the turnaround at the end after 5K, you kind of exit the promenade and the town toward the airport. So that's where you make your U-turn. All athletes have 17 hours to complete, and you have a cutoff at 19 mile or 11:25 p.m. So that's just before starting lap 4. So what you can expect on the run is the iconic Promenade des Anglais and the azure of the Mediterranean Sea, which is at first it's going to look really pretty, but it's if it's a warm day, you're going to remember. So remember to maybe have shades that can protect your eyes from having that reflection on the sea. So some other views. Go QT2. That was me at my first Ironman, racing for the local town, well, Nice. And basically, when you see that, it's a very famous hotel called Negresco, with a big casino. Basically, once you see that, you have half mile to the finish line. So no matter through all the emotion that you went through, this is definitely the moment you want to savor and embrace and celebrate your race. So for the race nutrition, as probably all of you know, Ironman changed from Gatorade to Mortal in the US. So in Europe, they have precision hydration 1000. So it's basically like Mortal, it's only salt electrolyte content. So I'll have a graph to kind of explain how it compares to Gatorade if that's something you have on your fueling plan. Water, cola, bananas and oranges. Always good to know that you have fruits for potassium. You have Morton brand products, so you have all their gels and bars on course. So for the bike, I mentioned it throughout the presentation, but these are all the markers. And remember the station 4, right after special needs, only has fluids. So that means it only has precision hydration, electrolyte, and water. So no carbohydrates. So the run, as I said, can be pretty warm. It's a different heat from Kona, but it's still, you can still feel it unless you hydrate well. So you have precision hydration 1000, electrolyte, the water, and they added the sponsor carbonated water called Santio. It's only electrolyte, so it has even more salt than precision hydration. So if you drink this, don't drink precision thinking that you're changing. It's one is more salt-based precision, whereas Santio is more bicarbonate salt, so it's more basic. So if you feel kind of acidic, and it can be a nice chance to have that mineral, natural water, basically. You have cola, banana, orange, watermelon. All of these are rich in potassium, and then you have crackers and all the Morton products. The run 8 station at every mile. So again, don't look down on your feet. Try to always look up to the next station and basically break down your run from station to station. Special needs, you have access every lap, but don't forget that it ends after the 3rd lap. So you have the last 6 miles with no special needs access. So a little nutrition insight on the product from Ironman. So Morton gel, remember that the black one is regular, so that means just carbohydrate, was the white one as the caffeine, and it's 100 milligrams. So we often used to have fueling plan with 25 to 55 milligrams. So make sure that, especially for the lighter women, with 100 milligrams, that you don't take it like one and once again, because then you're going to have the caffeine kind of too high content, so that can dehydrate you and bring your heart rate kind of out of control. So just make sure you keep a count on the caffeine you take in, and then the black one are only sugar. So Morton is a base of glucose, fructose, so very performant sugar absorption. But remember, it doesn't have any salt, so sodium, and no potassium. So a check to make sure that you keep your sodium with dehydration on check is if your stomach is bloating, think of having the salted water. And if your fingers are tingling, the best option, if you don't have anything in special needs, is taking banana. And if you cannot take it in, you have also oranges or the watermelon. And if you don't know, you can always try and see what makes a difference. Remember, you train to be able to respond on race day. For the bars, the gray one are basically cocoa flavor, was the black one is just probably kind of just sweet vanilla type of taste. But the carbohydrate is exactly the same. You have 40 gram that is separate in 2 bars. You do have sodium and potassium. So just check with your fueling plan, and sometimes on race day, just know what it is in, and again, do those checks to see what you need. The carbohydrate is different from the gel. You have maltodextrin, so that's slower sugar. And the oat, sometimes, again, it's a slower absorption, so sometimes it works well, but you have to know if it works for you. So for the hydration, so you have precision hydration electrolyte drink. So think kind of like Mortal, but here for 16 ounce, I have you have basically 500 milligram, whereas in Gatorade Endurance, you add 425. So in terms of salt, you have about the same as Gatorade, and for potassium, you have a little bit less, 130 compared to almost 200. So again, if you know you're someone that is easily potassium deficient, think of adding banana on your fueling plan. So an easy way to keep track, if you drink 4 gulps at a time, every 15 minutes, you get about the 16 ounce per hour. So whenever you get 16 ounce of your fluid, you put 500 milligram of sodium. So if you're a low salt athlete, that's probably what you need. If you're a high salt athlete, you need twice that. So and it's a good way if you run on the treadmill or bike on the trainer, just practice taking 4 gulps, so it makes the math easier, and you'll know about how much you drink per hour, and if you're going to get what you need. And if you cannot get the enough with the hydration, think about having salt tablets if you really need higher salt content with less fluid. So make sure you check your fueling plan before going in. So this is the water, the carbonated water they're going to have on course. So again, if you compare, it's very high in sodium and potassium, but it is true that it's super high in sodium, but it doesn't come all the from sodium chloride. It also comes from sodium bicarbonate. So it's a little bit more similar to Nuun sport tabs. So the fizzy part of the Nuun is basically the bicarbonate. So it's it reduces the acidity of the sodium. So if you're someone that has kind of burning eyes with the sweat, that's probably a sign of being a little bit more on the acidic side, or the teeth kind of hurting. So this water can be actually a good switch from the precision hydration. But remember, one or the other brings you salt. So that makes me jump into the things to know. I guess one of the richest in France is that we have a lot of natural spring water, but all of them have a lot of different mineral content. So you have the neutral one, so basically the same as Deer Park or any neutral water that you find in the US, was the electrolyte rich. This one, the pink one, basically has a lot of calcium in. The blue one, EPA, has a lot of magnesium. So it's kind of like taking a magnesium supplement, like the 300 milligram of Nuun Rest, for example. And the Santio is your Nuun Sport, so a lot of electrolytes. So everything is written on the label, but definitely don't mix your hydration for race day with one that has a lot of minerals. So use those more neutral one, and the crystalline one is really the one that has no taste, and that is the most similar to the water found in the US. applesauce. That's just because for QT2ers, that's kind of one of our famous breakfasts. So you don't have to carry applesauce. It would be very easy. It's like any applesauce that you have here. So you can buy those that brand, or and then I recommend for pretzels or all the little snacks that you want to have, kind of bring your own. You can always buy them in the supermarket, but it kind of, again, reduces the stress and doesn't take that much space. So for the final fueling that you need for the final days of the race, all the snacks, I will buy the one that you're used to. Again, that the week before the race, especially the final few days, you want to kind of have the most similar type of food that you're used to before racing. So this is just a Google screenshot of supermarket. The only reason I put it in is just to show you that no matter where you stay in town, so all of this is the old town, and this is your swim start, and this is the gardens and the Ironman Expo, but you have supermarket very easy to access. So that those are the sign of most of them. When it's written city or express, they're just very tiny. So if you don't find all that you need in the very small one, just go for one that hasn't the city or express sign. For swimming, you can do open water swim. Just know that I look on the city website, should not have any lifeguards. So when you go swim, just don't be alone, or just make sure that you swim in area where you are safe. All the sign of the promenade is you have beach access, so you can swim anywhere. Just don't pass the 300-meter buoys, so that's probably 350 yards or so. So that's from the beach to like all the way. The section 2 here is basically the summer when they have jet skis, but since there's no lifeguard, I don't think they're going to have the boat access. But if they do, they're going to mark it with buoys like this. On the beach, unfortunately, don't bring any valuables, so don't leave on your Oakley sunglasses or things like that, kind of laying on your towels, because if you want to come back and have them. So just make sure that you keep it simple when you go out and swim. I put out the swimming pool. It's a 50-meter swimming pool. There's a lot of different access. The way it works with you basically circle swim, but you can get, if you like to do swim workouts in the pool before a race, you have plenty of access to it. So I put the address here if you want to check. And then you also have a race swim before on the Wednesday, September 18th at 8, where you basically swim the Ironman course the way they're going to have you on race day. So I don't recommend racing it, but it's nice way to get a long aerobic swim and kind of take your marks, and all the water is going to fill and the currents. And remember, you have also the tips, something new this year on Thursday, where they're probably going to tell you how to cite and maybe some currents notes and stuff like that. I just put some place to eat. In Nice used to be Italian, so you have the specialty is basically very similar to eating out in Italy. So you have a lot of pasta place, pizza, then some more from Nice kind of spices and stuff. But you can easily, if you eat pasta or rice, you can easily find it in restaurants. Then you have a lot of bakeries with bread and multi-cereal, so you have different kinds, so you can always find things for breakfast, and you also have place for bagels. Something I like to note is that in supermarket you have to-go food. One of the brand is Sodebo. I put this one because it has kind of rice salad, pasta salad. So for athletes, that's pretty good with eggs and tuna. So if you wanted to kind of keep it simple, that's a good option. And then some post-race, and I definitely recommend ice cream from Finocchio. So again, very similar to Italian ice cream. Then if you have a chance, there's, again, it's very touristy. So the chateau is basically just behind your transition area. It's a little mountain bump. It's not very high, but you have a cascade, and it's you have very nice view of the city and the port behind, the harbor behind. This is the painter Matisse. Lived in Nice, and for the end of his career, I guess, and his life. So it's a very typical, we say Niçoise when you're from Nice, house. And so just that site is very pretty, and then you have very nice painting and sculpture exposition. This is on the bottom right is basically paths that you have along the coast, so you can go all the way toward Monaco that way. So again, if you're more someone that likes to walk on trails, that's a nice way to see the views of the town. And this in the old town, it's very famous for the markets and the fruits, vegetables, and flowers of the area, and soap and perfumes. So have a great race. I wish you a great day. Don't hesitate if you have any questions. You can reach out to me at ann@QT2systems.com. You can watch again that video on our YouTube channel. So if you liked it, don't forget to subscribe, and you can always stop and make notes of things that you can use for race day. Don't forget to celebrate your time there. Thanks very much.